Mark, thanks for sitting down with me today. I appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Good to see you here in Stockholm.
It's a good, nice city, good vibe.
Beautiful. It really is. It's amazing. I think we can learn a lot from these folks.
Absolutely, yeah.
Mark, you were recently appointed head of Seedcare Syngenta for Europe, Africa, and the Middle East. What's your first impressions?
Well, so I'm really impressed by the professional team that we have. I mean, the customer focus is really in our hearts and what we do every day. So we try to bring top value for them and show that on a daily basis. And very impressed also with the market reach that we have. So our portfolio is still there, despite some people talking about the trouble in Europe, but actually we have a good portfolio there. So I'm very proud of them. And I think we have a very good strategy through product application and services. I think that's working well for our customers. So very excited about that.
Lots on offer and lots to come.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.
Good spot to be. Nice. But congratulations on that.
Thank you.
Why is Seedcare, I mean, we're here at this beautiful facility in Stockholm that we just talked about, but why is Seedcare the multi-year main sponsor of this and partner really of this Euroseeds event?
So we have quite a history with Euroseeds already. So a very good partnership. We want to collaborate actually with lots of stakeholders. So we want to be the best partner in that discussion. I think it's a very great platform for that. You have all the stakeholders here. Even Garlich mentioned in his recent interview that, the spirit of the collaboration in Euroseeds is very unique. And we love to be part of that because no unique or single company can solve it, right? We need to have a dialogue across stakeholder groups outside of the industry more and more, as you know. So this is a great platform. So looking forward to support that and be part of that dialogue. Yeah.
And I know that Syngenta's support of this event goes a long ways to making that happen, to bringing together these stakeholders. And what did I hear? Over 1,200 participants this year?
Right. It's great.
That's amazing.
It's very nice. So there is energy for our industry. Obviously, you can see that. So that gives us energy to keep going and continue that dialogue for our customers.
So can I go up to 10,000 foot level for a second? What do you see Europe's role becoming or evolving into from a food production for the world standpoint?
Yeah, a lot of debate about that, right? And we usually forget Europe because we talk about Brazil or US and China is part of that mix. But I think we forget a bit that actually for cereals or sunflower or vegetables, just to name a few, Europe is quite important. And of course, when you think about the environmental impact, climate change, if we would take away technologies or access for customers, for growers, for the food chain, then it would be difficult to balance that, right? So I think there's a very big need for access to technology throughout Europe. We need to fight for that. We need to be part of that. We need to ensure that we have the freedom to operate for our growers, but as an industry, we need to help them to have these tools because any modern farming system needs a few tools. It's not just one component. It doesn't work like that, right? So I think it's going to stay as important in that sense. So we're not giving up, right? We're going to be there side by side, and we're going to make sure we continue to have those tools there.
Nice. And so then, more in general, then, as it ties into agriculture, other than that, do you see any key changes or key evolutions or significance that's going to happen as far as agriculture generally with Europe?
I think, the nature gives us certain playing field, right? So that doesn't change, in fact, just because we have other regulations or things like that. So what we try to focus on is what we can influence. So we need to think outside the box and see how the combinations of conventional type ideas like breeding, you need to find new techniques from that side, but you have a lot of new ways like a digital that can influence or data management or artificial intelligence. How can we use other types of things that in combination can help us find better systems, better farming systems. So, rules change, fine, but that's part of the game. So we need to actually challenge ourselves. And I like that challenge. Part of why I took the job is because it pushes us a bit into a new direction and for all the good reasons. And so we're there to go after that. So I think it's a good challenge as an industry and also for us as a company. Yeah.
If it was easy, anybody could do it.
Right, and innovation is never just born overnight. So you need to test a few things, you fail a few times, but actually that's what makes it even more rewarding at the end. So that's part of our challenge today.
This is going to make you squirm a little bit, but you are an expert in seed and seed care.
Okay.
And did you know that?
Sure.
So you're an expert in seed and seed care, and I'm wondering, do you have a personal story or something from the field that might have triggered in your head the benefits that come from the work that you do, the work that we do in this industry with our seed company customers and our farmer customers?
Yeah, sure. So my closest touch points come from Brazil. I lived a few years in Brazil, and I've seen how it works, in the field. Corn, soybean, the early establishment under these conditions in Brazil is very important, obviously, and the combination to protect that first potential. I mean, that's essential for any good season. So. Walked through many of these fields. I've seen how that works. If you don't use it the right way, that is a key part. So I feel like it's an excellent technology. I think it's very precise. It's right on target. So we keep getting better and better at it, and I think that's essential for any food production system today.
And that kind of ties into my last question for you, which is, how do things look in Europe if producers and seed companies continue to lose some of these technologies? Like if we didn't have seed care, if we didn't have seed treatments that we have now that, as you described, are laser focused on specific goals.
Yeah.
What does that look like?
It's going to be difficult, right? I mean, any options you take away, the more difficult it gets. And I think if not only seed treatment, but generally, if you take away these tools, we struggle to find good farming systems to feed the healthy population, right? So it's going to be very difficult. So we need to fight for that and stay in there. And Syngenta is actually looking at different ways. We have a bit more social discussion now, which is good, right? So we are adapting to that. We're trying to have discussions with NGOs, like we have a newly agreed collaboration with the Nature Conservatory. So we're trying to have these dialogues. We're trying to learn from them, trying to see how we can position also the whole research pipeline towards these new targets and how to be creative about it and innovate through that. So I think it's going to be tough without these tools, but it pushes us to come up with something new. And I think we're very excited about that.
I think one of the expectations for our industry is that we're having people make emotional decisions, and then we're offering them science as the backdrop. And I think that part of the reason that guys like you with the color of your hair instead of the color of my hair are expected to be able to tell that story, to be able to tell a story that can engage, that can emote and can create that sense of that to try and portray to show people that we care as much as we actually do.
I agree. Yeah. So I mean, food is very emotional, right? Mm-hmm. If you think about it, how embedded that is in every culture, every single culture in every country around the world. So, but yeah, farming is not the emotional connection anymore with a lot of people. So we need to create that connection and show what is the worth of these modern farming systems, and this is what we need to tell, right? And I think anyone can relate to that somehow. We just need to find the right way, the right platforms, the right moments, and that's clear. I mean, that's the part of the challenge going forward.
I said I asked my last question, but I changed it to this one. No worries. Someone recently told me that agriculture is always going to be kind of behind the eight ball until we realize that we're a food system, not an agriculture system. And that kind of rung true to me. I'm curious, what's your take on that?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, essentially, how we produce is secondary as long as we have quality output, right? Now, we have a lot of expertise, we know how to do it, but we need to keep it honest and visible and try to balance, how do we do it? I mean, all kinds of ideas about, we should all produce only in Brazil for the rest of the world, or is it only soybean? I mean, these kind of discussions we need to have and consider, but it's a complex system. So usually we try to simplify it down to understand it. But in this case, I think we need to have discussions that are difficult to have, but that look at the complexity, you know, a farming system. It goes from the soil to the atmosphere to what seed you have, what treatments you get, what program or protocols you use, and how is it distributed? How is the food chain actually processing, and how does it get onto the plate? I mean, it's a very long, complex system. So, but everyone has a piece of it. Everyone understands. Okay, we need to be closer to that somehow, and if we can tell that food story, then I think we're on the right track. It will take some time, but I think we can do it.
You did the perfect tie-in back to the beginning of, and that's why we have to collaborate.
Absolutely, we need to help each other out. So happy to be here at the Euroseeds, and that's why we're here.
Perfect.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you, Mark. I appreciate your time.
Thanks, Shawn.